presentation for today is on the Rahman Code. The Rahman Code explains how we in Malaysia choose our prime ministers. Our prime ministers all have to follow this sequence of letters, and when you add them together, it becomes Rahman, which is the first of the main qualities of God, Rahman and Rahim. So obviously the first prime minister had to have a name that started with R. There were probably a few choices back then in the 1950s, and we finally settled on one. So it was kind of cheating, because his name didn't actually start with one, but one of the words in his name started with one. So Tunku Abdul Rahman, he's the R in Rahman. He was a prince from Kedah, known as the father of independence, even though that's actually Jinping's title. He became prime minister, obviously, in 57 after winning the chief ministership in 55. And this is him doing a favorite activity. Can you guess what it is? Yes, he's ordering a gin and tonic at the Coliseum bar. And he liked doing it so much, he took it all around the world. And this is a stadium next to my school. I don't know why I'm plugging my school at this point. So to complete Rahman, the next one had to start with A. And there were probably a few available candidates at the time, maybe even Abdullah Ahmad, but we're glad he didn't get chosen. And we instead chose another distinguished Malay gentleman, Abdul Razak Hussain, now known as Tun Abdul Razak, and he became known as the father of development. Father Pembangunan, he started Felda and many other things, and he got rid of the previous prime minister in May 13, 1969. If you want to find out more details, read relevant books. So we needed an H, because Rahman will be an H. So who are the available H? There was a horrible guy named Harun Idris. So we're glad we didn't choose him. There was also Amir, a TV star, film star in the 70s. We're glad we didn't choose him either. So we ended up choosing this bloke to be our third, Hussein On. The first prime minister was father of independence. Second was father of development. Unfortunately, he's now only known as father of Hishamuddin. So this is it. This is our third prime minister. But he also did many things. There's an eye hospital named after him, and there's a neighborhood named after him, Bandar Hussein and so on. So we needed an M, obviously. There were a few other candidates. There was Musa Hitam, there was Muhyiddin Yassin, who would have been around but quite young then. But we chose this distinguished gentleman, also from Kedah, like the first prime minister, even though they didn't get along. Yes, here he is, Mahathir Mohamad. Here he is, turning his back on human rights yet again, as he did throughout his 22 years of premiership. He was our longest serving prime minister, and many of us here are of the certain generation where we identify the PM only as Mahathir. It took us a while. So after that, we needed an A. So who could possibly be this A, From the early 90s to 98, we all thought we knew who the A was, if you remember. Yeah. So we thought it would be him, Anwar Ibrahim. But he was sacked in 98 because, I'm sure you can guess, those sunglasses make him look a bit gay. So he was just considered not suitable at all for the job. So after Anwar exited, we needed another A, obviously. So who among them was viable? So here is Abdullah Ibrahim saying "Podah" to Anwar. He took over Putrajaya, and he'll go down as a kind of an underrated prime minister. But I think we had quite a few good times under Badawi. He made us see that there's a different way of running the country. So after that, we needed an N. There were 3 candidates to be the N. Not many people know this. There were 3 candidates to be the N in Rahman. This was the first. We shall wait and see. Bearing in mind that this is a Muslim country, you see all these Muslim beard drinkers here. So there were 3 Muslim candidates. One was Nazri Aziz. We were glad he didn't get chosen. He was kind of an asshole, actually. He's the de facto law minister, taking over from the previous asshole, Rais Yatim, who is now trying to censor kiddie porn and Malaysia Kini, which he considers to be kiddie porn. The other N is this, Nasha Aziz. She almost became our N, which would have been good because she would have been our first Prime Minister who looks good in transparent clothes. But due to the ingrained sexism of Malaysian society, she never became our N in Rahman, which is sad. So I'm not sure what she's doing now. And so we ended up with this guy, Najib Razak, son of the second Prime Minister. So he became our N. So it seems like it's complete, doesn't it? We have RAHMAN, which you will see in the next slide. So people ask what happens after N. Does the world collapse? Does Malaysia just cease to exist? Do we get taken over by Singapore? What happens? What happens after Rahman ends? I have my own theory because I think it's not just about Rahman, it's about the qualities of God. Our prime ministers have to be godly. So after Rahman comes Rahim. So our next prime minister has to start with the letter R as well, to spell out Rahim. And I think I know very well who the next prime minister is going to be. There's only one possible choice in the whole country who will be our next prime minister, and whose name starts with R. Because, yes, here she is, Rosma. Now you're sitting down, but 5 years later, when she becomes not only Prime Minister, but King of Malaysia, you will have to stand up every time you see her face. And yes, this is our next Prime Minister, and this is what will begin our next cycle. Thank you very much.